everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. Today's video is another haul. So I mentioned in my last haul around January, I usually had bought the bulk of everything I was going to buy in December during a sale. And unfortunately, and I'm still waiting, because my daughter is in high school next year, I was waiting to kind of find out what the schedule was going to look like. And because I'm still waiting for that schedule, she's doing a couple of online things with her school board. And because I'm still waiting for that, I kind of looked at it from the standpoint of I just need to move forward and I will slot in what I can slot in. The other thing that I wanted to chat about was usually with Gather Round, I only picked a certain number, and I can't remember, I think it was like 5 full units and 1 or 2 mini units. This time I bought a little bit differently. Once Gather Round said that we could buy just a student bundle, I started looking at what I had bought previously. When I looked at the middle school and high school pages, I didn't see too much difference. So there's some things that I was like, okay, if that's too hard, I can just say don't do this section. And so I bought just the high school bundle. And so instead of spending $80 on 1 unit, I could spend essentially the same amount of money, that same $80, I could get 2.5 units. And so for me, that meant that I could buy quite a few more. And that means that I can have my girls pick and choose some of the things. But that also meant that I needed to buy more books. Oh man, I'm sure you feel my pain. So anyway, there's some things for those units, but there's also a couple of fun things that I got as well. So I just wanted to share that. So the girls mentioned that they wanted to do the lizard unit, and so I got this book. Some of them I found, especially for lizards, it was hard to get books that weren't just for kids, like young kids. And because my girls are going into like high school and are in middle school, it was a little bit more tricky, but I got some that I feel like will fit in. So Reptile Realm, 1,000 Super Wild Facts About Snakes and Lizards. This one I got because my girls think this animal is hilarious, and I always say it wrong. Axolotl, I think. I got this one for the either read aloud or a what is it? A signed reader. There we go. So the Reptile Room or Murder, Lemony Snicket. And I got a couple of others. So this, like I said, this is kind of what I mean when I say it's kind of young, but I figured this one was okay because it still has lots of facts and will still look good in my magazine rack. All right, and this one I got, I'm so excited about this one. So if you follow me for a while, you know that I read lots of this author's books. This is Ishtar's Odyssey. As far as books that go for a Christmas read aloud, I think these ones have the most the most meaning. One of the things that my kids love about it is as we're reading, so there's Bartholomew, there's Jotham, and there's Tabitha. We've already read those, but all of these characters intermix because it's all about the birth of Jesus and these 4 children or 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, something like that. They all are alive around the time of Jesus' birth, and so then they get mixed into the story of what happened, and yeah, it's amazing. So I'm really thrilled to have this. The other thing that I found out looking for this was that there's some Easter ones and ones following Jesus' resurrection and the early church. I will try and remember to leave those linked. They're in my wish list for next year to get. I also got the kids some new markers. It's definitely something that my daughter really cares about with her art and stuff. These ones were considered good as far as she was concerned, but some of the colors, I guess the caps and the colors don't always jive completely, so you have to kind of pay attention to that. All right, I'm gonna put this one down. I did get some handcraft things. So this is a box of just like little wooden things that they can play with. Let me see if I can pull it out. So it's just an engraving tool that I got, and it came with, you know, a whole bunch of bits and stuff, but then it comes with these like things that you can put lettering and stuff, different lettering that you can put on your wood projects. And so I bought some of that. I bought like wooden easel, or no, wooden canvas type things so that they can kind of play with it. I'm gonna put that down there. Another couple of random things. I got some watercolor pads. I had bought some really like mixed media ones, and they did really well, but we're almost out of them. And if I recall, it was like from the United States, and they, with all the tariff war and our post office constantly saying they're going to strike, I just went with these ones that I could get at our Dollarama. Another thing that I found at the Dollarama was this start your own baking business. So again, because my daughter, that's what she kind of wants to do. She wants to run her own baking or cafe type business. I thought that depending on how the schedule works, this would be a fun little thing that she could get points for building a brand, learning baking basics. She already does, but make money. What does, like, they've got a whole bunch of put your business logo here. Like, she could actually start building up a plan or having, and it was $5. So I was like, oh, totally, we're gonna do that. Something I got at our local thrift store for $6 was the art of critical decision making. I don't know if I'm going to use this year. I think it's one of those important skills that you can have, but it's the great courses. And I was like, yeah, why not? So it's one of those things where I'm like, it could be it could be something that like my daughters both use. I think critical skills, critical thinking is really important, but also decision making. And when you're running your own business or you're trying to figure out your life, this is really good. So again, I'm guessing that there's not a lot of, you know, biblical stuff to it, but that's stuff that I can add relatively easy, and they've been learning about it for most of their lives. So I got a couple more books from the bookoutlet.ca. There we go. And this is one that I got for Unsolved Mysteries. The Mary Celeste, the Unsolved Mystery from History. Now, you might look at this and go, this one's really, really young for middle school and high school. But I got this one because it is in poem type form. And it also is something that I can do as a relatively quick read aloud. Excuse me. Excuse me. every once in a while, it's nice to have a short read aloud, because I often am picking like novels and stuff, and oftentimes we don't end up finishing them because they're just so much. There's so much to read. And so, yeah. And the other thing is if my daughter's doing online school stuff, our time schedule might be shifting and changing. So that's another reason why I wanted to maybe pick shorter ones, because she might have to run off to class as well. So we are going to do the mini unit of Alberta, because we live here, and I thought this one was a beautiful book. I'm like slowly but surely collecting tons and tons of coffee table books, and I think that's so much fun. So one day when I have a house with a coffee table, I will definitely be ready for it. We are thinking of doing energy. Again, it's one of those like more physics, science, high school units, but I couldn't really find a lot of books that didn't look kind of young. This one I thought, like, yeah, it's young, but it gives the generic, straightforward answers about, you know, what hydropower is and stuff. And they had a few different ones. I only got 2 of them, so I got the hydropower and I got the coal power. And there's a few reasons why I did that, but there was natural gas. Yeah, they've got it on the back, the different ones. That they didn't have all of them on bookoutlet.ca, but they might on .com, so I wanted to point that out. Let me see, there's 2 other books that I got. Now, I got this one, which is Fossil Future, Why Global Human Flourishing Requires More Oil, Coal, and Natural Gas, Not Less. So I want to give them an overview of both. I kind of do this with pretty much every topic. This is what some individuals believe, and this is what others believe. What do you think? Critical thinking skills. So I didn't want it all, and I did stay away from buying books about, like, you know, straightforward, the evils of oil and gas, because there's a lot of those kind of books out there, and I really want for them to think it through. The moral case for fossil fuels, that's another issue. It's just one of those things I've noticed as I've done my own research into it, that the green energy is not always as green as we think, or what we've been told. And so it's really important that my girls are able to think for themselves and go, okay, well, this is what this guy says, this is what everyone else says, what actually is going on. What it's a funny bird noise. That might be a cricket, actually. It's so loud. Grasshopper. Anyway, so that was another one that I wanted to get. Oh, don't. All right, so there's these ones which I thought were fun. Survival, I think it's either life skills or I don't remember. It might be life skills. Survival Scout Tsunami and Survival Scout Lost in the Mountains. Now, again, you might look at those and go, these are like, they look really young, Jamie, and why would you have this for your middle schooler? So I like to usually, like, if she reads these, she's going to read both of them. Because they're easy reads, but I want, like, sometimes I will challenge her to do a bigger book, and then the next time I challenge her, the next time is going to be a more easy read, so that I'm not overwhelming her constantly. And there's a train. You're getting all of the things, all of the noises. And this book is The Greatest Music, 100 Tales from Music History to Astonish, Bewilder, and Stupefy. So obviously the music unit. Yeah, the musical instrument invented by Benjamin Franklin, reputed to drive people insane. yeah, fascinating first. The first jazz band, the first rock and roll song, the first hip hop artist, etc., etc. So it's just kind of a fun little fact. Mozart in Motion, his work, his world in pieces. I know of no other writing about music that so completely reproduces the experience of listening to it, is somebody's thing. So, story of Mozart. Bushcraft 101, I think it must be life skills that I got these ones for. So a field guide of the art of wilderness survival. Oregon Trail, definitely life skills or living off the land. It might be living off the land, actually. Yeah. Ta-da! I find it eventually. The Oregon Trail, A New American Journey. Now, sometimes I get these and I think, oh my goodness, this is a novel and not a realistic story. This one is about a fella who, him and his friends, I want to say, actually travel the 2,000-mile length of the Oregon Trail in an old-fashioned way, and it's the story of them doing it. So it's not necessarily the original Oregon Trail, but it's what they experience having to do it again with the technology that was available. This is Unsolved Mysteries, Escaped at 10,000 feet. I have another one that I got last time, and this one wasn't available, but I thought this is kind of a fun thing, and they never did catch him. How to Invent Everything, a survival guide for the stranded time travel. I think this one I thought was just a fun living off the land, read aloud type thing, or life skills one. And so, yeah, no, there's a few different things that I thought, oh, that could be fun to do, like read excerpts or chapters out of. So that is my haul. I think that for the most part, I'm done purchasing things for this homeschool year, and I'm really excited about that because it's like another check off of the list. Usually, like I said, I usually have it done so much faster and so much earlier, and I didn't this time. So again, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, or the summer goes, when I get that schedule, and I will talk to you about it when I get it. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed the haul. I love getting hauls and watching hauls, so I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.